Hi there everybody, it's UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator Halsey here from slimandstylish.stampinup.net. I am so glad you've joined me today because this was a project of love. I think it's great. It's using the Citrus Blooms Cling Stamp set, and we're going to make 10 cards using a one sheet wonder from an A4 sheet of basic white cardstock. So first of all, I'm going to grab my fruit piece. This is the big orange bunch, and I'm going to stamp this all over my A4. And you'll notice I'm starting in the middle, and that's because it's going to all be cut down into a one sheet wonder, and I want to make sure that I have an image in each piece. So I'm starting in the middle and working my way out. Now you can use this with other stamp sets. You can do it black and white and not colour it in. You can do it with ones that you apply ink for and use that. Or you can do what I'm doing and just do a whole load of outlines and then blend them all in. This project actually took some time because of the amount of blending. So it happens over a week or so, and I've just put all the clips together to show you. So you'll probably notice that my nail varnish changes a couple of times during this video. Once I'd done all the bunches of oranges, I then also stamped these little decorative pieces. I really like them and just thought they added some more detail. Now I did all of this in Memento because I'm going to be doing a good deal of blending, and I'm going to show you what I did on the parts of the image, and then I'm going to take it away and blend it of an evening while watching TV. So for the leaves, I'm using dark Mossy Meadow, and then I'm coming in with light Mossy Meadow. And then I'm going to be using light Old Olive to colour the entirety of the leaf in. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to add some detail using dark Old Olive. So I'm just using the four colours and building it up to create a really effective leaf. And you can go back over the dark bits if you want. Just keep building them the way you want until you've got a 3D looking leaf. I'm then coming in with the colour lifter and I'm just doing around the edges just to brighten that up. And there's the end of the leaves. And I'm going to do that on all of the leaves on the whole image. Now we've got the flowers, which I think are quite fun. I'm using the S1000 and I'm also using the SU900. So they're the skin tone blends. I'm then using dark Daffodil Delight and dark Lemon Lolly. I'm using Flirty Flamingo Light, and then just in the centre I used Cajun Craze Light. So there are a few different colours going on here, but I really like how it adds to the dimension and the effect of the flower. Very petally and pastel-y. Now that the flower's finished, I'm going to come in and I'm going to be doing my orange. Now I'm using a whole mixture of colours here because I just really wanted to build on the textures. I started out with dark Cajun Craze. I'm coming in with dark Pumpkin Pie. I'm then going to be using dark Calypso Coral so that I can just add a different tone in as well. I'm going to come over the whole top with light Pumpkin Pie. And you'll notice that I am leaving a really light section in there, just so it looks really 3D. And then I'm just going to go over the top of the dark bit with light Calypso Coral before using my colour lifter. Now I am going to take this away and do the exact same technique on every part of the card. So there is a whole bunch done. And then you'll find that I get the whole card done like this, which then just leaves me with the outline. So I used Balmy Blue and went over the outside of each image. Okay, so I just went around it. I didn't do the white bit, I just went around each bit. It was so fun colouring this in. I actually moved my glass mat into the living room, put it on my lap, sat in front of the TV and just coloured away all evening. So therapeutic. Really loved it. And then I came back to doing this the following week to put the blue around it at the end. So you don't have to worry about these projects taking ages. You can just have a colour piece and then add it to a one sheet wonder at a later time. And you can tell I definitely did that because my nails are now a gorgeous bright sort of coral colour, whereas they were a blue. I'd been to the nail salon in between. So I popped this around just so it gives a little bit of an extra pop of colour. Now I could have coloured in the entirety of the background, or I could have just left it, so it's really up to you. And you'll notice when I do cut this sheet down for a one sheet wonder, I do actually colour in the entirety of the background just on one piece, because I just want to create a slightly different effect. It's really up to you, but I just thought the blue added a really nice sort of background colour onto this image. I thoroughly enjoy colouring this. Colouring is my happy space. So here is the finished sheet, and I do have a sketch for the one sheet wonder I'm going to be doing. It's got the numbers of the cards on, and it's also got all the sizes and measurements. So I've slowed down this section of the video so that you can take a print screen or you can take notes, and you can see here what all of the sections are. It's also got my website across the middle, which is my shop where you can buy all the supplies I'm using. So you can see where the numbers are. We've got one bit for card 1, 2 bits for card 2, card 3 is a big piece, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to cut all these down with you, and then I'm going to create the cards. But first of all, I want to get this cut down, so let's bring my trimmer in. We're going to start off with getting section 1 done, okay? So I'm going to cut that down. And like I said, if you print screened it, you'll be able to see how I've done these measurements and how I've put this all together. But you want to cut it down so that you have each piece. Okay, so there's number 1. We've got 2 bits for number 2, and I've popped the sheet just off to the side of the desk so that I can work this out. Now, what you want is you want one of our trimmers that has the measurements on the actual blade. So I do have an inches and centimetres on there, so I can work out part way down the card what measurement it is, as well as whether it's at the top, and that's really, really helpful. If you do have a trimmer that doesn't have it on the actual blade piece, you're going to struggle to get the part way in the card. But you could use a ruler and you could draw this over first, and then you could use your trimmer to follow it. That would really be helpful. If you do it in pencil, you can rub it out afterwards and it'll give you all the pieces. So just keep dissecting this as it is on the image. You can always flick back to it and print screen it off. And I will put an image of these over on my Instagram as well. So I am really trying to build my Instagram following at the moment. I do really like Instagram. I'm regularly putting reels and bits and pieces over there. So if you do go over there, I will pop a picture of the finished cards up. If you scroll along it, I will put a picture of each individual card so you can see what it looks like. And I will also put the image of the one sheet wonder so you can just nab it from there as well. But yeah, keep going, keep cutting this. When you are cutting, do think of the pieces that link together. So what I mean by that is if you've got an image of an orange and you've got 8 and 9, like you can see on the side there, they coordinate together, they attach together. If you cut them that way, realistically, it's not going to make that much of a difference if they do link. Because they're going to go on separate cards. But some of the smaller ones will go on the same card. So it's going to be really, really handy if they link up. And I'll show you what I mean when I make the cards. I'll be like, just make sure that this matches up. Even though it's the other side of the card, it will look like it's from one piece. It will look a bit more connected. I'll show you what I mean about that a bit later, because I realise I'm not explaining it very well. So it's been ages since I did a one sheet wonder. I used to love doing these, and I've got quite a few videos of them on my site. I've got some 12 by 12 paper ones. I've got some ones that's come from DSP, so you don't stamp your own background. I've got Christmas ones. I've got one that makes like 20 cards from strips of 12 by 12. Honestly, go and check them all out. Fantastically, they've had some really good views as well, so people must really enjoy doing them. But I just think a one sheet wonder is great. I'm going to be using these for swaps at an event, so it gives me sort of 10 cards in one. So when you're making, 20, 30 swaps, this is really, really handy. But also it's just handy to have these cards in if you're going to a craft fair or anything else like that. You've just got a whole stack of cards that look similar that you can pop out on your table. It's a brilliant idea. So I'm going to be starting out with card number 1, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to colour the background piece in, and I'm going to do it balmy blue, and I'm just going on from where the outline was. So I did mention when I was colouring it that one of the cards I do this within the background, and I just did it so that I could add a bit more, and I could also showcase you what it would look like if I had decided to colour the background. Now this is the only one I do it in, but I do quite like it. And if you like it, you can do it on the whole sheet, or you can just do it on parts. What you could also have done is not put an outline on at all, and you could have then coloured them individually once you cut them. So you had one blue, say one yellow, and really mix them up and had some multicoloured ones. Really up to you. Don't forget to do the edge pieces because you're going to stick this on the card and you want it to look like it's a solid blue piece. So I'm just sticking this on the bottom of a sheet of basic white. So I'll give you some measurements now. The basic white cardstock that's going to be gathered onto the cards, I use the same size as my card base, which is 10.5 centimetres by 14.8. I don't put them directly onto the card bases because I just think it looks a little bit extra and a little bit special if it's on a topper. And then I can also wrap the ribbons around, do some stamping, bits and pieces like that. So if you see a piece of basic white cardstock that I'm using as a front topper in this video, it's 10.5 by 14.8. The card bases are thick basic white, cut in half and then scored in half. So they will be 10.5 centimetres by 14.8 on the front panel, and the white panel will then match flushly. I'm using the Hello, and I'm also using the new punch from the new catalogue. This is a groovy punch and it does have a stamp set that coordinates with it, but for this one I'm sticking with the Hello on my stamp set that I'd originally chosen because I want these cards to be fully citrus blooms. So I've used the Hello and I've punched it out and I stamped it in Memento. And then this ribbon is a dual pack of ribbon. It comes with petal pink and it also comes with a white one. So you get 2 in the pack. I'm using the white one here and I'm just going to be attaching this on as a faux bow to finish my card. And this is card number 1. Now I am going to be adding some pearls on this as well because I did want some embellishments. But I start doing the embellishments after the second card. So you'll see me come back and add that on. Now this is what I mean about having them match up. So you can see there how they match, and when I put one on one side of the card and then I'm going to go and put the other one on the other side of the card, it will look like it's one sheet split in half rather than 2 completely random images that don't line up. So hopefully that makes sense with what I was really messing up trying to say a few minutes ago. Add this onto your card base. And this is pretty much the design for the second card. You can pop a sentiment on it. Like I said, I am going to keep using Hello from this set. I am going to keep using this punch, but you can mix and match it up. You can have different sentiments, different punches, whatever. These are just giving you templates for cards that you can use with your one sheet wonder. And I'm using the same ribbon here. I'm just going to cut a strip. So rather than actually run this around as a faux bow, like I did previously, I'm just going to stick this on as a strip. Add some dimensionals on the back of this Hello, whip that off, stick it down, and there is my card done. Now this is where I decide to add the embellishments, so I'm going to pop the pearls on here, and you can mix and match these up. So I'm popping these on the side of the label, but you could have put them on your image. I'm going to bring the first card in and put the embellishments on, or actually not. Maybe I do that at another point in the video. I know I do definitely end up putting embellishments on the first card. So this is the big piece. This is sheet number 3, and this is the larger piece that's going onto the card. And what I've decided to do on this one is back it onto some balmy blue. So rather than colour it in like I did with the first one, I'm going to put some balmy blue cardstock on the back of it and create a matte panel. So this matte panel is 10 centimetres by 14.3. And I'm sticking it on to 10.5 by 14.8 white cardstock so that you get that sort of 3-tier panel with this piece. Stick it onto my card base. Now I didn't really want to do much with this because I mean this looks pretty gorgeous as it is. I definitely didn't want a big tag on it, so I've just grabbed a piece of basic white and I am stamping my Hello in the corner, and I'm just going to cut this down really tight and create a little label. So what I do there is I go up the middle, okay, and then chop from both corners so it creates a little triangle, a little flag. Stick it onto the card. I'm just using the edges of the dimensionals on this because it is actually thinner than a dimensional. So make sure they're stuck on, take the backing off and pop it there. I didn't want to have a big sentiment that detracted from all that beautiful colouring because I spent hours doing that. And there's card number 3. Card number 4 is this square up the top. So for this one here, I'm going to be doing some embossing. So I've just got a panel of basic white. This is just scrap. It doesn't really matter on the measurements. I'm adding it into the new eyelet embossing folder, and I'm going to run that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Once you've done that, you're going to have a really cute panel, which is this eyelet. It's a 3D embossing folder, so they stick out really quite far. I'm going to grab Balmy Blue and my ink brayer, pop a bit of the blue on the ink brayer and run it over the embossed sheet. It will just give you a little bit of that blue hint behind. It's not going to colour the whole sheet, it's just going to give you a little splash of colour. And then I'm ripping the edges so that it creates a groovy panel on the back. I was just checking the measurements to make sure I could get away with ripping the other side without it hiding behind my image. I could, so I've just added some adhesive, stuck it on the middle, added some adhesive to my square, stuck that on the middle of that, and this is actually my favourite card of the entire set. I've put hello at the bottom. I'm going to add some not diamantes. I'm going to add some pearls on there as well, stick it on my card, and like I said, out of all of them, this ended up being my favourite design. I think it's gorgeous and cute, and it's because of that embossing folder which I fell in love with. Number 5, again, these are 2 bits that go together, so make sure that you've got them lined up how they should be. Okay, one whole image, and then make sure when you put them on the card that it's pretty obvious how they line up. Okay, pop the hello in the middle, and that is pretty much the next card. Nice, sweet and simple. The great thing about One Sheet Wonders is you don't need anything complicated, right? It's a whole mixture of cards, the speed is really good, and you just get 10 out of this paper. Number 6 is the bigger square, and I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier where I actually mat this onto a piece of Balmy Blue. So I'm going to cut this down at 7.5 centimetres by 7.5 centimetres. Remember, our cut piece was 7 centimetres by 7 centimetres, so it'll just give it a tiny little frame around the outside of the Balmy Blue, and I'm going to add that onto my piece of basic white. I'm then going to stamp me hello. I'm going to keep it flat at the bottom, add a couple of the pearls on this card, and then stick it onto the card base. And there is the next card. The best thing about these One Sheet Wonders is just keeping it simple. You know, you've put so much effort into actually doing the colouring. Let the colouring speak for itself. Add it on the card, and that is going to make it pop. You don't really have to do much more. So for this one, I'm adding the card panel towards the side. I'm then going to grab a strip of basic white, stamp my hello. I'm going to stick this down on the card, and then I'm going to trim it to the size of the card. I could have done it first, but I just didn't want to get it wrong. So by sticking it, it means I can trim it to the side of the card, add some pearl basics, and there we are. Next up is these pieces. These are so fun. I love the big corner pieces. They always make a big splash on a card, and you really don't have to think about anything else but adding these on. Okay, now just here I went a bit skew-if, so I peeled it back off, repositioned and stuck it down. And I'm doing both of these cards together at the same time because I'm designing them the same, but obviously they go at different sections. So one going at the top and one going at the bottom, so it creates this effect here. I'm then going to grab the hello and mirror image that, and there you are. How simple is that card, but how effective does it look? You honestly don't have to do any more to it. It's done. Now you could have sponged the sides, I suppose, of these to add a bit more colour. I didn't want to, I just wanted them nice, clean and clear. The final card is using this last little strip. Get every bit out of your cardstock, right? Proper value for money here. Stamp that down. I've stamped my hello. I'm going to come back in and use my punch, but I'm not going to use the whole of it. I just want it to be towards the side. So I'm going to trim it down. and then stick it as if it's coming out the back of this piece. And there we are. There is card number 10. Now I do have a gallery to show you the cards so you can see them. And like I said, I will be putting the instruction piece over on my Instagram. So please do go check it out there. I'm not going to do a short of this because it is just, you know, a lot to do. Here's card 1 and 2. Card 3 and 4. Don't forget 4 is my favourite. I love it. 5 and 6. 7 and 8. 9 and 10. I just really thought this was good fun. Here's all the cards together. Let me know how you get on with it. Please do leave me a comment, leave me a thumbs up or a like if you've enjoyed it. If you enjoy this, go and check my other one sheet wonders out because I'm sure you love making those. And don't forget to head over to my Instagram where the instructions are. And everything I have used today is available from my store, slimandstylish.stampinup.net, and any support is always appreciated. Have a good day all. Bye.